today I wanted to maybe make a tutorial on how to record vocals properly because a lot of people do it wrong, and I had done it wrong. Everyone I know has done it wrong. I don't know if it's just people in the hip hop or just amateur recording in general. People don't know how to record, and they're giving engineers or themselves really crappy tracks to mix. And no, you can spend days on a mix. If the audio is crappy to begin with, you're not going to make it any good. Crap in, crap out. I think that's the saying that goes. But I thought I'd start with a few slides because even hooking up your microphone correctly, like right there, there's a good chance you've done it wrong. So there's quite a few places you need to get it right. So the front of this interface has 4 preamps for microphones. This one says mic high Z. High Z is for guitar or bass, I'm pretty sure. So that will accept a microphone or a guitar. And this will also accept microphones, and this says mic line. That means it'll also accept a line level. A line level is what an external preamp uses. So a lot of people will plug their mic into their external preamp and then they'll go plug it on this side. That's wrong. Straight off the bat, that's wrong. It has to be mic line. And to avoid confusion, if you have an interface that has a line input that looks like this, that's where you would plug your external mic preamp into. You plug your mic into your preamp, and from your preamp into this line input that you can't confuse for anything else other than a line input. I noticed as soon as I done that, world of difference. I got some other slides here, whether you're using a condenser mic, like, all those nice mics, or you're going to use an XLR cable. And if you're using a dynamic mic, sorry, my slides are a little mucked, that's also an XLR cable. I think it's common knowledge that with a dynamic mic, you don't use phantom power, and with a condenser mic, you do use phantom power. Now, let's go to the external preamp, because obviously plugging one of these with an XLR into the front of your interface is straightforward. Like, you can't go wrong there. You would use your gain input correlating with each input, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure your phantom power is on for condenser mics. But make sure your speakers, this knob is turned down, because the interference between condenser mics and speakers will make a loud noise that might damage your hearing and scare the shit out of you and damage your equipment. So you want to be careful that when you're putting on phantom power on whether an external preamp or internal preamp, that your monitor is turned down or your mic is turned down. So what I do is the output of my preamp I turn all the way down. So when I hit the 48 volts button, I'm not going to get any nasty surprises. So you could have 2 layers of protection, one at the preamp and one at your monitor output. Hopefully you're following this so far. So yeah, you just hook your mic up. Say, like the one I have right now, this is hooked up on channel 1 on the exact interface that I'm showing you here. And I don't have to push the 48 volts. I just have to turn this up and it's cranked. Hopefully it doesn't sound too bad. With condenser mics and audio interfaces, it's another story. The condenser mics are way more sensitive to all kinds of noise in the room and all that stuff. And then these interface preamps can actually be a bit noisy once you get past like 2 o'clock here, 3, 4, 5. That's why we use the clock method. So like right up the middle is 12 o'clock. So anyways, around here, you might start getting some like not good sound. So you just dial it back a bit, a bit till you don't hear it anymore. Yeah. So if you're hooking up a microphone into something like this is Neve clone. There's the back. You can't miss that. You put your mic in there. That's the input. Don't worry about the insert. That's a little more advanced. And then for the output, you have your chance of XLR output or line level output. XLR we went over. That's the line. That's a 1/4-inch cable on both ends. Right. And that's the XLR cable. for my configuration, I have my mic plugged into where it's supposed to be. And then for my output, I use the line output, which goes into the line input on the back of my audio interface right there. Actually, I have it in 6. So that's proper connections. I hope I didn't miss anything. Then there's the actual recording. I think before 24-bit recording, and there's only 16-bit recording, you would want to get your microphone as hot as possible without clipping. So you'd be like, bouncing around 6 or over, hoping not to clip. And everyone is just trying to get it as loud as possible without clipping. Now, that's a stupid game you're always going to lose or get poor quality from. Surprisingly, the idea is to actually get around halfway on the meter, around -18 to -12, somewhere in here. Right now I have a track loaded up in Studio One, and all the effects are off. So when I press play, it's going to sound probably quiet, very quiet, and maybe unprofessional. The idea of the game is if you record it -18, -12 or something, there's no noise in your recording. You're definitely not going to clip. There's no distortion. It's just perfect. You don't want to go too low like down here, because then when you boost it up with these effects and stuff, you're going to bring up the noise floor with it. So the whole idea of recording in a preamp is to get a noise signal to noise ratio, something like that. Yeah. So it's okay if your preamp is like generating a little bit of something. When your vocals come through, it's going to mask it completely. Electronics make noise. There's no getting around that. But yeah, I'm going to hit play on this and explain a couple things as I go. So right off the hop, I have my beat bouncing at around 12 decibels. Okay, so it's almost buried, but it is at around -12, -15. On the actual track that I recorded, after I've recorded it, I put on these effects, and they're not super crazy. There's some surgical EQ where I just take out some nasty resonances. And I know it's probably not recommended. You're supposed to level match, blah, 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 but I boosted it at the output of the whole equalizer by 3 decibels. So I made my cuts, which probably took about 3 decibels out of the signal, and I put it back over here. And then I hit it with the compressor, which probably isn't doing a lot. Maybe it is. Who knows? We'll find out. And then another EQ, because I find that microphones in general will... they're kind of funky. Like, they don't just sound like awesome right off the bat. Some of them do, and good technique, you'll get good results and blah, blah, blah. But even with the best of mics, the best of preamps, I think there's a level of sculpting the signal and smoothing things out. So that's all this all these EQs are doing. You can see there's no boost on any of them. They're all actually cuts. So we're going to go from... My number one song with the sun in the moon, I'm moving like Zumba, filling the room, doing what I'm doing like I'm grooming a crew cut. So right there, just with these effects on these tracks, I just boosted the level, cleaned it up, and made it sound pretty good. And that continues for, I have like 3 or 4 takes or whatever, and I have similar, you could just drag and drop the same thing on all of them so they sound cohesive. So yeah, we go from... Hang on. We go from like buried. You feel it in the air like Lollapalooza. The kick drum kicks and the sun will go through ya. To pop in. Okay, so right there, that's one stage of bringing up something that's been recorded down here to boosting it to maybe up around here. And by the time it gets to the vocal bus, where all your takes and verses and everything go, uh, there's effects here. They're all bypassed right now, and we're gonna just play a bit, and then I'll put them in, and boom, 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 boom. You feel it in the air like Lollapalooza. The kick drum kicks and the sub will go through ya. The drummer will move ya. The bass will just groove. My number one song, like the sun and the moon, bro. More processing, more EQ, maybe some boosting, some compression, spice. And then over on the master bus is like kind of like mastering effects, which brings everything up. So what started as, hang on, I'm going to just bypass every effect in the song. And then I'm going to put all the effects on. And you'll see how it goes from dark, quiet, just not really popping, to not finished product, but we're on our way, you know? You know what it is, about time we grew up. You never know when you're gonna go to a show and the hoe wants to put blow up in her nose, and Joe Schmo flows all over them pros, and clothes start dropping like you shopping at Lowe's. So you copping the clothes and you hop in the cab, trying to figure out how you gonna get in the pants. But her mans and her dad have other plans. You're getting stuck for your bags, boy, break that ass. It's gritty in the city, my committee is jiggy. It gets litty in the winning pretties, pull up the titties. The city's insane, with insidious brains, it's sniffing the cane, intravenous veins. We stay change, stay picking the brain. No effects. Doing what I'm doing like I'm grooming a crew cut. Regardless of who, what, show up and suit up. You know what it is, about time we grew up. You never know when you're gonna go to a show and the hoe wants to put blow up in her nose, and Joe Schmo flows all over them pros, and clothes start dropping like you shopping at Lowe's. So when I turn up the headphones, obviously that doesn't affect what you hear, but it affects what I hear. I could turn it up all day, and there's no noise present. There's no anomalies. There's no room noise. There's no preamp noise from poor recordings. You start low and clean and bring it up per track, plus your bus, plus your master. And that's how I find how to get clean, semi-professional recordings. I have a lot more to learn, but you know, if you're recording it properly, that's where you got to start. You can't fix it in the mix. You can't say, "Oh, this kind of sucks, but we'll just mix it," or whatever. You're not going to fix nothing. You got to start at the source. Yeah. So I hope this was helpful. Otherwise, there's a leak of William Ellington's newest song, but. Yeah, I hope you found value in this. I thought I left out a crucial part. Maybe some of you guys have heard some of this advice before. Like, I know not to record so loud, but when I don't record so loud, I can't hear myself. There's a solution. There's multiple solutions. I've shown you that you could boost the level on individual tracks with effects, and their output knobs can boost the level. That's one way. And then you could send it to your bus, and you could boost it, your vocal bus. You could boost it there. If you still can't hear yourself, because maybe this vocal bus doesn't even exist because you're just in this recording process, what I do is, you could crank your headphone output on your interface. I can hear myself loud and clear right now. And if that doesn't, maybe the music's whatever, the best place to turn it up during recording is actually on your master bus, because it doesn't affect your vocals whatsoever. You don't have to crank your vocals, because the more you crank your vocals, the shittier the sounds gets. Sorry to break it to you. So you would put a compressor on there. It might not even be doing any compressing, but there's this output knob, and you would just turn up the output knob. Between this compressor and output knob, up 12, 10, 20 decibels, whatever you need, it's there, and it doesn't affect anything. So it's just a perfect level riser. Uh, it's great. And if that isn't enough, you could add a limiter after your compressor. Um, there's probably a stock one coming with your DAW like this. I know we have one here, so here it is. This is the limiter, and this is the threshold. This is the ceiling. So you would maybe turn the ceiling to like 1 decibel or something. That means it's not going to get any louder than that because you don't want to be clipping the master. And then as far as I know, I'm going to just turn off ozone and some tape so I can actually use this limiter. So here we go. That was just turning the limiter on. There's a huge jump in volume, which not just it raises the volume of everything, including your headphone, your vocal tracks, without actually harming your vocal tracks. You're just turning up the master even louder. That's the trick. I didn't want to leave that out. I almost did, and this is what's going to get you where you want to go. So yeah, peace, love.